YouTube channels. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe to my kitchen so you get notified every time I post a new video, and don't forget to comment down below. So in today's video, I'm going to be reading you guys a story which is called Dreamland by Sarah Dessen. I don't know how to say her name, but there you go. So first, I'm just going to read like the beginning, like the description. The introduction. Sorry, I'm going to do the introduction, and then we'll start chapter 1. No, we'll start reading chapter 1 tomorrow, I think. Yeah. So for today, we're just going to start off easy and read the introduction, and then which is only up to page 9, and then we'll read chapter 1 tomorrow, if I don't forget. So let's get started. My sister Cass ran away the morning of my 16th birthday. She left my present wrapped and sitting outside my bedroom door and stuck a note for my parents under the coffee maker. None of us heard her leave. I was dreaming when I woke up suddenly to the sound of my mother screaming. I ran to my door, threw it open, and promptly tripped over my gift, whacking my face on a hall light switch. My face was aching, so I got to my feet and ran down the hall to the kitchen. My mother was standing in the coffee maker with Cass's note in her hand. I just don't understand this. She was just shaking to my father, who was standing beside her in his pajamas without his glasses on. The coffee maker was spitting and gurgling happily behind them like this was any other morning. She can't just leave. She can't. Let me see the note, my father said calmly, taking it out of her hand. It was on Cass' thick monogrammed stationery with matching envelopes. I had the same ones, same initials, C.O. Later, when I read it, I saw it was completely concise to the point. Cass was not the type to waste words. Mom and Dad, I want you to know first that I'm sorry about this. Someday I hope I'll be able to explain it well enough so that you'll understand. Please don't worry. I'll be in touch. I love you both. Cass. And there's no pictures, by the way, so it's just a chapter book. Oh my god, my nose is so itchy. My mother wiped her eyes with the back of her hand and looked at me. She's gone, she said. She went to be with him. I knew it. How can she do this? She's supposed to be at Yale in 2 weeks. Margaret, my father said, squinting at the note. Calm down. The him was Cass's boyfriend, Adam. He was 21, had a goatee, who lived in New York working on the Lemna Whipper show. It was one of the shock talk shows where people tell their boyfriends they've been sleeping with their best friends and guests, routinely including Klansmen and 80-pound 4-year-olds. Adam's job mostly consisted of getting coffee, picking up people at the airport, and pulling guests off each other during the frequent fights that scored the show's big ratings. Since she'd come home from the beach 3 weeks ago, she'd met Adam. Their Cass had been glued to the TV every day at 4 p.m., wishing out loud for a good fight just so she could catch a glimpse of him. Usually she did, smiling at the sight of him charging on stage, his face serious, to untangle 2 scrapping sisters or a couple of rowdy cross-dressers. My father put the note on the table and walked to the phone. I'm calling the police, he said, and my mother burst into tears again, her hands raising to her face, over her shoulder, through the glass door and over the patio. I could see our neighbors, Boo and Stuart Connell. They were cutting through the tree line that separated our houses. My birthday brunch. Boo had a boutique of fresh-cut zucchinis, bright colorful in her hand. I just can't believe this, my mother said to me, pulling out a chair sitting on the table. She was shaking her head. What if something happens to her? She's only 18. Yes. Hello? I'm calling to report a missing person, my father said. Suddenly, in her official denim student's voice, Cassandra O'Karen. Corinne. Sorry about that, guys. Excuse me. Yes, she's my daughter. I had a sudden memory pop into my head. My mother standing in the doorway of Cass and a Cass in my childhood room. Back when we had twin beds and pink wallpaper, she would always kiss us, then stand in the doorway. After turning off the light, her shadow stretching down the length of the room between us. She was always the last thing I tried to see before I fell asleep. "See you in dreamland," she'd whisper, and blow us a kiss before shutting the door quietly behind her, like dreamland was a real place, tangible, where we could all wander close enough to catch a glimpse and brush shoulders. I always went to sleep determined to go there to find her and Cass, and sometimes I did, but it was never the way I imagined it would be. Now my mother sat weeping at my father, reported Cass vital status 5'4", brown hair, brown eyes, mole on left cheek, and I had the sudden sinking feeling that dreamland might be the only place we'd be seeing her for a while. I heard a knock and looked up to see Boo and Stuart standing on the patio, waving at us. They'd been our neighbors for as long as I could remember, since before Cass or I was even born. They were former hippies, now New Agers. They believed in message, fresh baked homemade bread, the Dalai Lama. They had absolutely nothing in common with my parents, except proximity, which had led to 18 years of being neighbors and our best family friends. "Good morning," Boo called out to us through the door, holding up the flowers for me to see. "Happy birthday!" She reached down and pushed the door open. She stepped inside with Stuart following. He was carrying a bowl and a plate each covered with a brightly colored napkin, which he put down on the table in front of my mother. We brought blueberry buckwheat pancake mix and sliced mangoes. Stuart sent his soft voice, smiling at me. "Your favorites." Boo was crossing the room, arms already extended to pull me close for a tight, long hug. "Happy birthday, Catalin," she whispered in my ear. She smelled like bread and incense. "This will be your best year yet. I can feel it." "Don't count on it," I said, and she pulled back and frowned at me, confused. Just as my father hung up the phone and cleared his throat. "Technically," he said, "they can't do nothing for 24 hours, but they're keeping eye out for her. We'll need to call all her friends right now. Maybe she'd tell someone something." "What's going on?" Boo asked, and at the table my mother just shook her head. She couldn't even say it. "Margaret, what is it?" "It's Cassandra," my father told her, his voice flat. "It appears that she's run away." This was my father, always formal. He lived for suspicions and technicalities, not believing anything without proper proof. "Oh my God," Boo said, pulling out a chair and yanking it close to my mother before sitting down. "When did she go?" "I don't know," my mother said softly. Boo took one of her hands, rubbing the fingers with her own as Stuart moved to stand behind her, as his hand on her shoulder. They were touchy people, always had been. My father, whoever was not, so neither. I made a move toward him. My mother sniffled. "I don't know anything." Caitlin, my father said to me briskly, "Get a list together of her friends, anyone she might have talked to, and the number for that Witter show or whatever it's called." "Okay," I said, not bothering to correct him. He nodded before turning his back on my mother and Boo and Stuart to look out across the patio at the few squirrels crowding the bird feeders. My way back to my room, I picked up my present from where it was laying in the middle of the hallway. It was supposed to be paper with no card, but I knew it was from Cass. She would never have forgotten my birthday. I took it into my room and sat down on my bed in the mirror over my bureau. I could see my face was scratched from where I'd hit the light switch, the skin around it a bright pink. No one had even noticed. I unwrapped Cass's present slowly, folding the paper carefully as I slipped it off. It was a book, and as I turned it over, I read the letters on the cover. Dream Journal. All around the words were comets and stars, moons and suns scattered across the light purple background. It was beautiful. The first page was an introduction about dreams, what they mean, and they should remember them. That was Cass's thing. She had been to a similar signs in the years where heaven never knew what the world was trying to tell you. That Try to pay attention every second as I close the cover. Something caught my eye on one of the first pages. It was an inscription in Cass's loopy script. My name, Big the Massachusetts Catlin, is set in black ink. I'll see you there. So it turned out it was just up to 7 pages, and me thinking it was 9. Sorry about that, guys. It was just up to page 5. So sorry about that, guys. That was 9, but my bad. So that was the introduction, and I'm sorry if I started on some words. It's because I don't know how to pronounce some words. So sorry about that. And today's shout out goes to all of you guys again, because nobody has asked me for a shout out. But if you want a shout out, all you gotta go do is go down in the description box down below. Add me on Snapchat. I'll add you back and tell me like a shout out. And today's shout out goes to all of you guys. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you get notified every time I post a brand new video. And don't forget to comment down below. Bye guys. Peace out.